Hey everyone. So to start off, I love how Mashima sets the tone right from the jump that Holy is kind of the one in control of this situation. Every interaction she has with the crew, both big and small, serves to show more and more throughout the progression of the chapter that she's basically the one holding all the cards in this situation. Every interaction, every bit of information that she's learning in this chapter is dictating the flow of the alliance and how she can use that information and how Holy can use that information in order to completely flip the script at any time she wants later on. Even when she's revealing important information, she's still weirdly maintaining like some level of control and still using that as a means to kind of in order to gain trust and use that trust for later by but also by choosing what information she wants to make public. With that said, though, there is also a very interesting counterpoint to the whole thing, which is for as confident as Holy is in her ability to exert her control over the situation and the members of the crew, there are certain revealing moments that show there are still wild card elements that she doesn't have control over in this situation. And as when she openly admitted she had no information on Pino, and just earnestly said her ability as an EMP bot, her abilities and powers as an EMP bot are going to be essential in this fight. That kind of thing is obvious, but obvious to us. But the way Holy admits it and says it out loud, the way she does, it also reveals no one within the government has really discovered a means to shut down Shiki's operation that doesn't involve her direct confrontation with his army, which is her revealing the army is her revealing the government's own weakness in this case. But you even in showing that weakness, you can also see how she could possibly use that in order to use that as again another means of control. But it is showing that it is also showing us there are weak points within her own knowledge of what she can do. The other thing, though, is how Holy openly admits she's unable to prevent any interference from Justice, which, yeah, if that's the case, I'm gonna have to mentally prepare for the likelihood of him fucking something over. It's practically an expectation at this point that Justice is going to fuck shit up, and he's going to royally fuck, and in this case, he's gonna royally fuck this operation over because Elsie's involved. And it's probably going, and although I almost but with that, I also will also look at it two different ways. Either it's going to happen before Holy even has a chance to betray Shiki, or she's going to use it as an opportunity to betray him. I don't know. But I feel it's almost going to be. I feel it's going to be in part the fucking reason why Ziggy. Either way, I feel whatever happens with Justice is going to be in part the fucking reason why Ziggy escapes from capture once the arc wraps up. You can just kind of feel it. Now, let's get into the major reveals of this chapter, though, because first and foremost, let's get to the one with Deadhead Crow, where it's just another example of Mashima taking things way too literally when it's revealed that Crow is basically the Iron Giant. He is a 420-meter tall robot. So, yeah, his title, the Titan of Eternal Darkness, it ain't no fucking joke. And when I heard this, I was just as shell-shocked as Shiki. How the fuck can you defeat someone that huge? Even when you got numbers on your side, Crow's size just on the silhouette alone is massive. The dude's the fucking size of a goddamn planet, a small planet or some shit like that. But the more I realized, the more I thought about it, the more I realized a setup like this with a villain as big as Crow is could be a clever way for Mashima to incorporate past continuity and into how to go about fighting Crow. Because while clearly much larger in terms of size, Shiki has had a lot of experience fighting larger opponents before. One example, of course, being his fight with Kurenai in her armor. And granted, again, Crow is way bigger than any mechanical armored suit, but it would be interesting to see if there's any knowledge Shiki gained from that fight that he could utilize when fighting Crow, because there could be there could be potentially some kind of correlation, as both still have are both are still a case of fighting a mechanical being, and just because Crow is that big and that strong and that much of a destructive force doesn't mean he doesn't have weak spots. I mean, I want to believe that's going to be I want to believe that but oh boy, fighting Crow is going to be an uphill battle. Like, I'm genuinely I've got ideas as to how she can go about like defeating Crow. I just don't know if they're going to work. Like, how, again, for as good as ideas I have, I got no clue, like, generally any like absolutely positive way he can defeat Crow. It's like, the ball's in your court on this one, Mashima. The other major reveal, though, we get in this chapter, though, is that Holy herself hails from a place called the Grand Shiki Cosmos. And yeah, obviously the thing to talk about from that reveal is it's the place that supposedly Ziggy had chosen had picked of when he was choosing what to name Shiki. But now this reveal in itself opens up a Pandora's box of possibilities of where the story goes from here in regards to just what exactly Shiki's origins are and where he came from. But those are the one questions, obviously, but even more so than that, I believe any clue, information, or just revelations on why Ziggy wiped the Starshine's memories, I think, I'm not saying we're going to get all the answers, but I think, like, at least a starting point for some genuine answers are going to be all in the Grand Shiki Cosmos. Like, that's where, like, I think answers on why Ziggy did a lot of what he did are going to be answered, I feel. The other thing, though, is that from learning that the Grand Shiki Cosmos is where Holy is from, it raises more than a couple questions about her connection to Ziggy now, and that at this point, it can, like, hearing just that name confirms that she has ulterior motives for wanting to face off against Ziggy than just it being her job to stop him. Because the government, even if the government made it its priority to do so, there's there's more to it now than that. Like, what we're seeing on the surface, or even what's being alluded to through her actions, is like, all of it kind of just asks the question of what her end game here is. Like, the only complicated part is Mashima's done too good of a job at keeping Holy's motives within that veil of mystique, to the point where I can only put little bits and pieces together, and part of me almost thinks this is a mission of revenge for Holy for something Ziggy did while traveling through the Shiki Cosmos. But at the same time, just the whole idea of Holy out for revenge against Ziggy almost feels too simple for her character. Just at least when you think of just all the trouble she's going through, it feels like it's a little bit more than just revenge at this point. I just don't know, like, what it all could be, honestly. With that said, Ivory reveals that yes, Lobelia can in fact be cured, and when I first read through the chapter, it did feel slightly underwhelming that that was in fact the case. But when Ivory got into the whole medical specialist explanation of things, I did like it more, just from the fact that it does sound like the thing that's killing her is in fact an abnormality running through her ether-like system, ether network, whatever. So just knowing that, I do like how Lobelia is going to be able to live out the rest of her life, and making amends, and just kind of just making amends, being able to, and just moving beyond her rivalry with Rebecca, like actually starting a friendship with Rebecca. I feel like that's the one thing I'm looking forward to, is that there's going to be, like, we're actually going to see growth for her character beyond this point. And just in general, I am happy at the possibility of getting to know who the real Lobelia is now, than all that stuff we see on the surface. Now that all that stuff we see on the surface is more than likely going to be stripped away now. But even moving on from that, let's talk about Lobilia's sickness in itself, because after having a week to mull on it, and especially after reading this chapter, I'm almost wondering if in the process of Ivory curing her, Lobelia ends up awakening her like an ether gear or something, and the only reason she's been, and almost like the only reason she's been unable to awaken it up to this point is just her body was too weak to do so. And but keep in mind, I'm not saying this is all like a guarantee of what's going to happen, but it does feel like a possibility the more I think about Lobilia's situation. But yeah, guys. That's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.